Hello, and welcome to Proteus Yacht Charter's Top 10 Hints for a Carefree Sailing Holiday. Over the course of these slides, I hope to impart to you a little bit of knowledge that I've garnered over the last 25 years. I've worked my way up from basically cleaning bilges all the way to the boardrooms of two of the world's largest and most respected charter companies. So let's press on and let's get this show on the road. Number 10. Always travel on your sailing holiday with soft-sided luggage. Showing up on the dock with hard-sided cases is an absolute no-no. There'll be nowhere to store the case on the boat, and most of the time the charter base just won't have enough room to keep your suitcases. So soft-sided luggage is the only way to go. You get on the boat, you unpack your luggage, and you fold it up and pop it in the drawer next to your swimsuits, and you're good to go. So always travel with soft-sided luggage. Number 9, and this one pretty much applies to me because I'm a serial overpacker. For some reason I seem to think that I travel with Sherpas that can carry several cases and hat boxes and shoe trunks and the like, but pack lightly. So my trick is to pack everything that I think I'm going to need, stand back and look at it, take out half, repack again, stand back, look at that, think a bit, maybe have a cup of tea, take out half, repack again, and I'm still going to have too much. The basic reality is that you need one set of travel clothes, which you wear there and you wear home. You need maybe 2 or 3 pairs of shorts, 2 pairs of swimsuits, a t-shirt for every single day, one nice going out outfit, so a lovely cotton sundress for the girls, a nice pair of dress pants and a shirt for the boys, and you'll need your wash bag, any medication, sunscreen, and that's pretty much it. Pack lightly, because you're still never going to use everything you take, because you're going to spend most of your time in your swimsuits anyway. Number 8, be patient when you arrive. Many times you'll arrive before your charter's supposed to start, so you're going to be there early anyway. But if you're going somewhere like the Mediterranean, they will often have same-day turnarounds, which means basically that the boat will arrive back from its charter at 9:30 in the morning, that you're arriving to take the boat at 5. And it's not just that yours is the only boat that's being prepared. There could be as many as 30 or 40 boats being turned around in that one day. And it only takes a couple of mechanical issues on boats to slow everything down. So when you arrive, check in, and you'll probably be there early, and you never know, your boat might be ready for you, which is an added bonus. And if it is, be very gracious and lovely and accepting. But if it's not ready, understand that the charter company wants exactly the same thing you do. They're not there trying to ruin your holiday. They want you to go out sailing as badly as you want to go out sailing, and they're trying to work as hard as they can to get that boat turned around. Don't ever go on the boat until you're told you can go on the boat, no matter how excited you are. And if you're there early or the boat's going to be delayed, maybe go to a briefing, do any paperwork that you can do, or if it's that it's only going to be half an hour, go to the grocery store and do your provisioning. But please don't board the boat, and please be patient. The charter company wants the same things you want. Number 7. Pay attention in the boat briefing and the chart briefing. This is very, very important. Chances are you probably don't sail every week on a big boat. You probably only sail 3 or 4 times on a big boat. Chances are that the equipment on a charter boat is going to be different than you've got. The electronics would be different or something. So pay attention, ask questions during the technical briefing if you don't understand something. Make sure that you have a definitive answer and keep asking until you fully understand the situation on the boat. And then in the chart briefings, listen, take notes, because those people really want you to have a good time. They want you to experience the best of what they call home, their place, their backyard, because they're very proud of it. And something that I always do is after the chart briefing's over is I'll find the briefer and I'll talk to them and I'll ask them for some little insider tips of places they like to go that they don't like, where it's not so touristy or those kind of things. And the other thing that I like to do, and I did this summer when I was on our family sailing trip in Croatia, is I found the local skippers that had clients that were on skipper charters, and I would ask them at each stop that I made where it is they like to go and places they like to go. And in fact, if you look at the other piece of content that's on the newsletter that got you here, there's a place called there's a thing called There's This Place, an article called There's This Place. That was one of those places. So it's a restaurant that I was sent to by the skipper, and it turned out to be an absolute delight. So get a little local knowledge, pay attention in your briefings, and you're going to have a great trip. Number 6, and this one I can't stress how important this is. You haven't sailed this boat before. You've never left this marina before. If you're not feeling really confident, ask for assistance. It'll take a lot of the pressure off of you and your crew. Also, if they help you off the dock and they put somebody on the boat to help you get off the dock, it'll make it stress-free, and it'll show the charter company that you care about not damaging their boat, which they will love you even more for. And I think the even more critical thing is significantly less stress on the crew, and also if something does go wrong, you're not doing it, it's not going to go wrong with you at the helm, and also you're not going to have a huge audience of the entire marina watching you. So there's no shame in asking for assistance to get off the dock, so think about that. Number 5, this one's going to sound really obvious, but check your inventory. And what'll happen is they'll give you a clipboard during your briefing, and they'll ask you to check everything on the boat. The reason you want to do this is not because you want to avoid being charged for the 2 forks that are going to go over the side during the charter. It's to make sure that you've got boat hook, to make sure that you've got binoculars, that you've got winch handles, to make sure that you've got enough plates and silverware for the amount of people you've got on the boat. It's purely to make sure that you've got what you need on the trip. You know, when a boat's doing a quick turnaround, sometimes things get overlooked. And it's not because they're not doing a good job, it's because they're just trying to get this boat ready for you. Okay? Check your inventory, very important. Number 4, and this goes hand in hand with number 5, the one thing that almost always gets overlooked is the first aid kit. It's a lovely little blue package, it's nice and neat and tidy. Yes, we see it's there. That's all they need to do. But there are always going to be 2 things which are going to be in short supply in a first aid kit. Band-aids or plasters, depending on which side of the Atlantic you live, and painkillers like paracetamol, Advil, Tylenol, aspirin. So check through, make sure you've got what you need, and if you don't, just nip up to the office. They'll have a supply on hand. They'll be happy to give it to you, and it will help you if you get a little nick or a ding or on your hands or your elbows while you're snorkeling. So check your inventory and check your first aid kit. Number 3. This one's a little bit of a bummer because you're in high spirits, you want to get off the dock, you want to have fun, it's a holiday environment, but do a safety briefing with your crew prior to leaving the dock. Show them where all the through hulls are, show them where the life jackets are, talk about what happens if. And then once you've left the dock and you're in open water and out of the marina, maybe at your first anchorage, do a man overboard drill with a fender. These things will help you in the unfortunate event that something does happen, and it'll help you because it will have been something that's fresh in their mind and something they think about. So safety briefing is very, very important. Please don't neglect that one. Number 2, check your dinghy and outboard thoroughly. The weak link on pretty much every charter is almost always the outboard motor, and particularly in the Caribbean, the dinghy and outboard are your lifeline because there's so few marinas and you don't tie up to docks and quays like you do in the Mediterranean. And the biggest problem that you have with outboards is water getting into the fuel. So the first thing I always say to every client is always close the breather on the fuel tank when you've done using the engine. So what I always do when I go on charter is I jump down into the dinghy, I open up the breather, I start the outboard, and hopefully it will idle. So that's the first thing, is will the outboard idle once it's warmed up a little bit? So if it idles, that's great. Then in idle, I put it into gear. Forward, neutral, reverse. And if it will sustain forward, neutral, and reverse, that's great. Then what I'll do is, while the boat's tied up in its slip, is I'll nudge the bow of the inflatable up against the hull of the boat, and I'll open the throttle up to make sure that under load it still works in gear. Once that's done, you should be good to go. Then stop the engine, close the breather switch, the breather valve, Then what I do, depending on if I'm in the Med or in the Caribbean, if I'm going to tow the dinghy like you do in the Caribbean, I'll tilt the outboard up, because you never tow the dinghy with the outboard down, and I will then double check to make sure that the clamps are good on the hull, make sure it's tightened up on the hull well. Once that's done, you're good to go. Also, I check to make sure I've got oar locks. I've got 2 oars, I've got a dinghy anchor, I've got a good enough painter and a bailer. Then we're good. And the number one thing to do on your holiday is to relax and not try to pack too much in. It's not a crime to spend an extra day snorkeling, or to spend a day ashore going through the ruins of some ancient city, or to go for a hike up in the rainforest. Don't try and do too much. You'll regret it. Just relax. You're on holiday. You've spent a lot of time planning this holiday. You've paid quite a lot of money for it. You deserve this. Just relax. So I just would like to thank everybody for watching Proteus Yacht Charter's Top 10 Hints for a Carefree Sailing Vacation. And if you'd like some more information, check out proteusyachtcharters.com.